Pearl Harbor, all those kind of movies.
And then he went away for a while after that because
then,
I don't think people really bought him anymore. And then he came back. Didn't he do one with Harrison Ford?
Yeah, and I guess they hated each other on that. Then he did 30 Days a Night, which I thought he was really good in.
Yeah.
That's been on the pod a ton. And then he was in Penny Dreadful. Have you watched that show?
Have not.
I'll punch you in the gut. It's a good show. But he's really good in that.
Finley me?
Yeah. But I guess for him, just watching the up and downs of that. And also, most of the people in these movies, when I see them, I'm happy. So that Sean Hotsey did Outside Providence. Have you watched that movie with Alec Baldwin and him and Amy Smart? But one of my favorite lines of all time is, so his brother's in a wheelchair. And he's like, my brother's in a wheelchair. He's like, one time we were playing touch football and he accidentally fell off the roof. So that's how the kid's funny. But, I guess for me, it's heartening because he's had the ups and downs. I don't think Hollywood really knew what to do with him. I think that happens to a lot of actors like Colin Farrell, Ryan Gosling. They all kind of try to figure out what to do with him. Even actresses, they try to figure out what to do with him. And then
it's hard to interpret because Josh Hartnett, he still kind of looks like that. Yeah, and now he's like 40s. Yeah, so it's like, where do we pin this guy? And do we buy him as a father figure yet? Do we still see him as like could he be the rugged handsome guy that's like in his 30s? Could we do that still? You don't know where to pin him at. And I think that's what happened to him. And when they did with 30 Days a Night, I think that might have been just like kind of like a test to see where they could do with it. But
he was good. He had the size to pull it off. I thought he was good.
He's a big dude too. He's like 6'3".
So I guess probably I would have to go with. And also Robert Patrick. He's cool.
Of course. He's from Marietta.
Yeah.
Born and raised.
I worked with him on Jane Mansfield's Car. You should watch it.
I worked with him on Endless Love.
Nice.
He's a very nice man. He posted like updates from his Instagram and I was like, at the time I was like, hey, I'm dating one of the stand-ins. And he's like, I'll tell her you said hello. And I was like, wow, he's a really nice man. Yeah. Really big into motorcycles too.
That set was cool. He was a good dude on that. And I remember he got cast for Gangster Squad and I was talking to him about it in there. He was just cool. Like, chill dude. Everyone was so happy to be on that movie. So whenever I see Robert Patrick, I'm like, Robert Patrick.
He's a really nice man. A friend of mine who is his stand-in and body double in that movie said that he would do a lot of jokes like with him saying like, hey, in this scene, what do you think about me holding this coffee cup? And he's like, aren't you the actor? He's like, I'm just messing with you, buddy. So he was a fairly, really, really, really nice man who liked to pull pranks too.
And another Terminator reference too.
Of course.
There's a lot of Terminator in this movie.
Maybe that they were trying to set us up for Terminator 3, which did that come out the next year or 2 years later?
Didn't Arnold disappear for a while? No, he did that before he became the governor.
Terminator 3? No, I thought that was during his governor.
I think it was before because he came back with Last Stand.
Oh,
I don't know, man. There's so
that
many
was
Terminator
one with Johnny
movies.
Knoxville, wasn't it? Ugh.
Well, I love Last Stand.
Ugh.
You haven't watched it?
Ugh.
Oh, dude, it's funny.
And that's a good night to me.
Johnny Knoxville shoots a flare gun. It sticks into a guy's what do you call it? Gun belt. And he hits the bullets, and then the dude just explodes into a million pieces. There's a sports car, muscle car, slow motion chase through a cornfield told by overhead shots. It's visually inventive.
I'll watch it again.
I get why people don't like it, though. It makes sense. But no, those are fun questions. So thank you so much for that. Also, they ask, oh no, that's Aliens. When they ask Casey, when did you become Sigourney Weaver? I guess that doesn't really work. Oh, but going back to my question, why did they slash up BB Newirth in the beginning? Remember when she's in the principal's office and she gets a pencil stabbed?
I think I like to think of it when I saw that and then watching it again. There was a movie called The Grave Dancers. If you've ever seen it, it's part of the eight Films to Die For series. It was like one of the first ones that was released. The beginning of it is a lot like this, where it's a scene that doesn't go with the movie, and it wouldn't go with the movie. But the movie Grave Dancers opens up with a woman hanging herself, and why we never figure out why. Same thing with this. Why do they slash her up? Because there really is no need to do that.
Put something in her ear.
Yeah, they could have just like held her down. I mean, you had Robert Patrick, and then you had I forget her name, the Piper.
I got Piper Laurie.
They could have easily have just done that themselves. I think they were just trying to set the mood right off the bat, just like with Grave Dancers. They wanted to. It was probably had to do with the Weinstein saying like, we need to establish immediately this is a horror film because it worked with Scream and Scream 2. Yeah. So we need to set the mood immediately because when people went to go see it, they wanted to see, because everybody knew Dimension at this time was being like those horror films. So they wanted to set the mood immediately without anybody ever thinking this is going to be a horror film.
And shoving things in people's ears isn't exactly horrific.
Well, if you like tackled them and then, and then it just shot right out. I think,
they do get spit at Elijah Wood later on. You can spit these things at people.
Right, when the monster dies, they're like, whoa!
It's just like, that'd be funny if there's a scene where the thing just dives. Like, yeah! Into someone's ear.
Good night, nurse.
Like on Army of Darkness, when the thing jumps right into Ash's mouth.
I love that movie so much. Oh my gosh.
They should have done that.
But I think that they also wanted to set the mood that this was a horror film, and they didn't want you to they didn't want to say what these things were. So that way you could, or even know what's up. Because as far as we knew from watching the movie from the first time, you don't know what's going on. So why is Robert Patrick doing this? We assume that he's drunk because she says, have you had too much to drink? And then, oh no, it turns out that Piper's with, the coach. And it's like, it sets you off being like, it's a horror film, but what is going on here? And then you see the next scene, she's completely fine. Yeah. And it's like, wait, what?
She just got lit up.
And so, Robert Patrick also got sliced in the face with a key. So
right.
So it's like now his face is kind of like, and I love that shot actually. And it's pretty good, even though, the visual effects weren't as great in the 90s. Whenever he turns and looks at, can't remember the name, but anyway, he turns, he's like, you look lovely today. He looks at Piper. He's like, you look so lovely today. And you can see that the scratch on his face is starting to heal itself. Yeah. And it's like, ooh. What is going on here?
And I guess Famke Johnson gets decapitated.
Yeah.
And then she pops her head back on, and then she goes back to normal when the things get killed.
I read that apparently she's never watched this movie because of that scene. She doesn't want to see her own head walking around.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
But then she starts a relationship with Zeke, Josh Hartnett.
Somehow I don't think that would have actually happened in real life.
No, well, this is that universe, though, so I guess people are oblivious to it. The teachers don't care.
And he's smoking a cigarette on the football field. I guess I could probably excuse the fact that...
and there's rampant drug use with dealing in bathrooms, and no one cares.
Yeah, it seems to be people were okay with Elijah Wood having a bloody nose, too.
Yeah, so it's anarchy at this place.
It's narcissistic anarchy.
Ooh.
Whoa. That's the name of my 80s punk band.
All right, so how about this? Let's take a break. Let's write some songs for this. And when we come back, we'll talk more of the faculty. Welcome back to Movies, Films, and Flicks. And we got to talk about this again. Mary Beth is just spitting these parasites out. Could she machine gun parasites? Just
that would have been like, it would have been great for her to go to the football game because she could just sit there and be like, yeah. It's like blasting everybody like with Jameson. I mean, Jensen's up in space going, that's my woman. Yeah.
Mary Beth. No, like Rambo on a machine gun. She's just spitting all these things out.
What if she does it a little bit too hard? It turns into Rambo 4. We're just blowing people.
Just blowing heads off with one bullet. He throws a rock, like a Hot Shots Part 2. He just throws bullets at people and they fall down. Now, so I have a quick question in this movie. There's the scene we love where they're doing the drugs to find out. It's like the Thing type scene where they're doing drugs because the drugs dry out the creatures. When did Delilah, Jordana Brewster, become infected?
I have actually done some research on this, and as far as this movie goes, that's the most talked about sequence.
Because there's a few opportunities
that when she could have actually turned. And I think it would have happened as soon as she ran out. Whenever she runs away from the school, whenever she's with Elijah Wood, and whenever they're hiding in the closet, and then they come out, and then she runs off. I think that what happened was because we don't see it, and she runs out of the school, and then she probably was tackled by a teacher whenever she got out there. Or some administrative, or maybe even a student, whoever was infected next. I think that's probably when it happened, because we see her next. She now looks drastically different, just like everybody else.
It's interesting how the one teacher, there's differences. So Famke Johnson went from kind of being mousy to hating Josh Hartnett. The Robert Patrick became the stereotypical swearing coach, and then became an understanding coach. But during the football game, no one was drinking water. Did you notice that?
It started raining.
No, but before that, no one was drinking water. Before it, they were chugging, and now these guys are destroying each other on the football fields, and no one's drinking water.
Maybe they don't need to because of that. Maybe all the sweat that they're building up is actually getting back into their system.
Why?
I don't know.
Oh, so they had to chug at first.
That makes more sense.
Oh, okay. So once they get fully hydrated?
So they get fully hydrated, then they can do this, and then maybe they just cut to them going off to the side real quick and glug, 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 glug. Or maybe...
I guess you don't want to show 3,000 people chugging water.
Or maybe that was the greatest commercial for Gatorade ever.
That's right. Giant electrolytes. I think you're right, because in the football game, a guy gets knocked on the ground, they put something in his ear, and he has to get stretchered away. So it's never immediate when this thing's pop in you.
Or it could have,
but later on it becomes immediate.
It is immediate, but it's almost, they're smarter than they're smarter than we actually are giving them credit for. Because it is immediate, because as soon as Salma Hayek gets infected, it's immediate. She grabs onto Jordana Brewster as they're running out of the closet.
Yeah.
So it is immediate, but it's almost like they have to put on a guise in order for them to get more people. So if if they take away one kid in a stretcher, correct?
Yeah.
He can then infect the ambulance.
Got it.
That ambulance could then go to the hospital, and then they can go for it.
Jeez Louise.
So, and another way that they could have done it, that's what they're doing. The same thing with Jordana Brewster, which makes a whole heck of a lot of sense.
And the fight with Jon Stewart too, right?
The fight with Jon Stewart as well, yes.
Yeah.
So he's not going to come walking in and being like, but although that would make more sense for them to do that.
Yeah, he locked the door. He's like, just sit. Did you just want him to sit there still while he's spitting each person's ear?
Yeah, that's not going to go down with anybody.
I do love when he ripped off the paper cutter thing, Josh. That's a cool scene.
That was in the trailer, because I remember when that trailer was like, oh, he looks so cool.
Yeah.
Rips off. And also whenever the dude, he chucks him the paper cutter thing, and it's like, it spins in the air, catches the handle, and it's like, oh, that's gangsta.
Yeah, I like that.
But I was gonna say, but that's the reason why they're doing that, is like, it is immediate, but they're not showing off, because they have to know that they have to play their cool with Jordana Brewster. So she's like, I'm in disguise because I'm trying to hide from them. So I'm wearing my glasses and I have my hair pulled back. And it's like, because she's infected and she doesn't want to be like, walk in just like Famke Jensen did, and like, oh my God, she's hot again, or she's still hot. So she puts on her disguise and saying that I'm hiding. Bam, now I can infect the other teens.
Well, do you think that didn't they try to imply that Robert Patrick, when you become a different, like a better version of yourself almost? So he was a complete jerk and then he became understanding.
Well, it's almost like, you're becoming pure.
Yeah.
I guess is the best way to put it.
So I guess maybe she didn't like her. Oh, so she took the contacts out because they can dry out your eyes. Hey!
Exactly. Yep.
So makeup, can that dry out your, I don't know.
I'm assuming.
Yeah, I don't
really.
That's a deep cut right there.
People would stop shaving then.
Yeah, you're right.
Guys would have massive beards.
No, we'd all look like brewers for a beer world. No, also there's that fight with Furlong when Mary Beth takes her behind one of the benches to safety. But I think it's probably the night before, I would assume.
She takes Furlong?
No, during the fight with Furlong, Mary Beth takes Delilah behind the thing.
That's also, that could have been also whenever she did it, like whenever she brings her in.
Because, I mean, maybe, I guess you could also assume that she didn't sleep the night before, so she didn't want to deal with contacts and everything, because she thought there was more important things.
Yeah, and she said that she was in hiding from the aliens.
Yeah, you're right. So I guess there's no real answer here, but it's still a pretty good question.
That's dynamite. Yeah.
Why didn't Mary Beth infect Zeke when they were smooching, when he was stealing stuff? She's like, are you borrowing this? And he's like, no, I'm stealing it. I like that line too. She liked him.
Yeah, I think that I like what I read online was that what she says at the end is that she actually really did like these guys. Yeah. And she didn't want to ruin that. And she didn't want them to become, I guess, like immediately at first, it's almost like kind of like in those, like when they make fun of like robots that become human, they're like, I'm starting to develop what you call feelings. Yeah. And it seemed like with her that she was like, I kind of like y'all. And
they were the outcasts, that kind of stuff. So then she liked them, right? The one guy wanted to quit football. Clea Duvall, was being harassed by Delilah. Yeah. So maybe it makes sense for her to turn Delilah because she didn't like Delilah. But did Delilah know that Mary Beth was the queen? Because later on, she's like, give it to Delilah or give it to Mary Beth. So do they know that she's the queen?
They would have to, yeah. But, I mean, if you were one of the aliens, they would almost, you got to be in on the jig.
Oh, so everyone's just acting that scene?
Well, yeah, they have to, because that way no one, those two would not have to, they would give up their cover. Yeah. They'd say like, oh no, I can't do this. I'm an alien. I
think Mary Beth was just kind of enjoying the ride. She could have machine gun spit in all their faces.
She could have done it. She could have taken them all out.
I mean, so I guess she just kind of liked them. She seemed to like the adventure. She wasn't really worried about the world. She just kind of wanted to, and also maybe
she liked them as friends.
And also she wanted to know what could destroy them too. So she probably was curious, like what's in this guy's stuff that could be our enemy.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
I mean, I'm sure she probably wanted to know what it was. Yeah. I'm sure she knows exactly all the stuff that could kill her, but she probably wanted to know, why are they snorting this and what is this going to do to us? And not only that, but if she was like the first one that was going to do it, and she didn't know how to respond to it, you know what I mean? Yeah. So it would have had to have been, ooh. Like if she snorted it, or she had to fake snort it because we see her alien finger hits it off, which if you do watch the movie, it doesn't do it. that's a goof that happened. Like, she doesn't actually do it, but when they re-show it, she does do it. That she would have to know the response to be later on. So if she was the first one to do it, she would, just sit there and be like, okay, it wouldn't work. She'd have to see everyone else do it first.
And how about the special makeup and creature effects by Robert Kurtzman? What'd you think about that?
Heck yeah.
I mean,
the K and B.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's great.